Hi everyone, it's another creative conversation that we're having here at Arizona Artisan Creations at 8800 West Water Street. We are open Sunday through Wednesday, 11 to 5. I think some of those hours might change, so you might want to go to our Facebook page. We have the hours there. You can call the store, go to the website, which is www.arizonaartisancreation.com. So today I have Denron. I apologize, I get the full name wrong every time.
Denron Living Earth Products.
Living Earth, okay, Living Earth Products. Denron from Dennis and Sharon. Okay.
Right. Very inventive of us.
Now, one of the questions that we had on the Facebook page was they wanted to know how you got started with your jewelry and how long have you been doing it?
Well, I've been making jewelry for many years, but my mom was a jewelry freak. She collected jewelry her whole life, and when I was a kid, of course, I used to play with it. And we're both retired nurses now.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been making jewelry off and on, but I would say probably about 5 years ago we got serious about it and decided to go into the business itself.
Very cool. And what was one of the first things that you made that once you kind of started, I guess, when you first started getting into making jewelry versus now, like have you branched out or did you stick with one thing? Or
we used to sell a product that had gemstones in it. It was a water product. It changes the structure. The gemstones change the structure of the water molecule.
Oh wow!
And we used to sell those water bottles and other accessories, and they all had real gemstones in them. And we started doing all this research with this product, which is made over in Europe. But it got to the point where we would display it, and people's like, "Oh, I wish you had earrings or a bracelet that went with that."
Went with it. Yeah.
And so we would pick the ones that we had in our bottles, and then from there, he started having trouble with his back, and we couldn't lift them because they're very heavy,
okay,
and there's a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
So we decided to go into the jewelry instead.
Right, because it's saying,
Which
like,
is still
what is in
heavy,
here?
however.
You got a box of rocks?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
box,
kind of
yeah,
funny.
exactly.
But they were heavy because it was glass and metal
And
rocks.
metal and rocks.
So we had to really think about that.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. So that's really when the whole thing just branched off, and so we went a little crazy.
So you've kind of always worked with natural
Yes.
stones then.
Yes.
That was kind of what your interest was.
Yes.
Now, how do you go like to the gem and mineral show? Is that like your favorite time of year?
It's
I like going and
Christmas.
just going like, yeah, I was going to say it's probably like Christmas. For me, I'm like, ooh, Sadaz. So I bet for you guys it's having the wholesalers come to you where you can buy the gems and the different, because I know you do jade and things like that.
Yeah, we, Gem and Mineral Show obviously is one of our favorite places to get our rocks. But really, we look for interesting things, whether it be the pendant or the stones themselves. And a lot of times we get to meet the miners who actually mine them, and that's always so interesting. So we have things from all over the world, actually.
I got opals when I met the miners many
Yeah.
years ago. I got some really cool opals there from Australia, so I can understand that.
Yeah,
And we also don't always pick things that are perfect.
right.
And that surprises a lot of people. We work with nuggets and chunks, like this necklace has little chunks in it, as well as beads. But
Yeah, this is
clear,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, what does this have in it? Like, what are the...
This is, all the black is shungite, and then the pendant is a rutilite, it's quartz with black rutilations in it, and then these are just clear quartz nuggets.
These are beautiful.
But they're not perfect.
Well, that's what's
And-
nice because you're dealing with natural stones,
Exactly.
so you don't want, it's not something that's plastic
Right.
and mass produced.
Right.
This is something was created by the
Right.
earth and
Right. and it's the way it came out of the earth. You know, it's not something that's mass produced.
Right.
You know, beads are mass produced. But when you get to the nuggets and some of the other little,
This is beautiful, and this is something you could wear every day.
you could wear it every day.
You could dress it up or wear it with some
Right.
jeans.
And shungite
I'm going to show this to you. Look at how gorgeous that is.
Shungite is a very high energy stone, and a lot of people like shungite for a lot of reasons. Black stones in general are said to help reduce negativity, and shungite has a lot of energy, and people that feel the stone energy, if they just touch it, a lot of times they can feel those vibrations from the stone. And I know of some people that cannot even work with it because it bothers them so much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know there's those rare earth magnets, and there were times where I had to take it off because they were just too much for me. Or if I was like on any type of medication, it seemed to amplify it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to take this off. Is there a particular favorite stone that you guys like to work? Like, is there anything particular that you're partial to, or is it just whatever catches your eye?
I like to put together a lot of things that are different, and I will, if I see a pendant that's like multicolored, I will really take my time to try to put together a good combination. I think the most favorite thing I've ever made, and it's something we don't have here, but we found a piece of fossilized dinosaur feces.
Oh, wow, okay.
As a pendant, and it's gorgeous. It's a rock now.
Wait, right,
you know,
yeah.
but it's brown and green and cream and a little bit of black all in it, and you're like, I wonder what he ate.
Yeah.
You know? But it's fossil now.
Right,
you know?
right.
And I think it's a huge conversation piece.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you do earrings the same way, or do you create your earrings to match the necklace, or do you just sometimes not even like pair them up? Do you do them separately?
I usually try to make them coordinate. If I have a necklace, and some of these that we have here are a little more subtle. Some of them have much bigger pendants, and so if I have a huge pendant, I will try to go with a smaller earring because you don't want to come blazing into a room.
Right. But that's still like a conversation
It
piece
is a conversation piece,
it's
yes.
so attractive and catches the eye.
Right. And we really do spend time looking for stones and things that are different. And it's not stuff that you see all the time.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely.
And when we sell our things, they all come with a little information card attached to the back of it that tells you everything that's in it.
I noticed
what
that
it's
when
made
we were
out
doing
of.
the live sales, I got to read it and I was like, oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
is so cool.
And I do that because most nurses
that's
are nosy and they want to know what they're giving people when they're sick. And I'm one of those people. I want to know everything I'm buying. So I just figured everybody else needs to know too.
Well, and it's probably really interesting because not only is it, you know, a beautiful set of jewelry, but they've learned something about it. So if there is something that they're partial to or they're looking for as far as the benefits of that particular gem or mineral, they can find it here.
And they can Google it too. We have things at a farmer's market that we go to, and we have people come in and say, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that. And if somebody would come in here and want to be looking for a particular stone, Aubrey can call us and find out if we've got it, because we have a lot of stuff. We don't
Now,
have
do
it all here.
people bring you things
Oh,
to
yes.
Oh,
like
yes.
make
Oh, yes.
custom things
yeah.
with?
Happens quite often. I've had people bring me these rocks and say, do you know what this is? And I will look at it, and if I don't know what it is, I've got some resources to try to find what it is. And then we, people make me something from this, would you? Okay. So
Now, do you guys drill your own pendants?
we
like
do
this?
not.
Okay.
We do not.
don't do.
So they bring me something with a hole.
Okay.
And so,
So I'm like, I've got some really cool like crystals.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Right.
But they have no holes.
I need a hole. I have not done a lot of wire work for one reason. I really like the stones to tell me their story and to speak and say what they want to say.
Rather than the wire wrapping.
Rather than a lot of heavy wire wrapping.
Right.
And stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you want a lot of wire on your piece, that's fine. Everybody's different.
Right.
This is just our preference to let them speak to us and to say what is
The simplicity, but yet they're not, because like you said, the design itself is the artwork to me.
Yeah.
What kind of stones are these? What is this?
The pendant is a little bit of, that one is fossilized coral, and then these two pieces are sunstone,
Oh, okay.
and then this is red lava rock.
Oh, wow.
So, and then there's little bits of copper.
And
in
it's
there.
not like you think red lava rock, you think of like that abrasive, and these have really been smoothed out. You could still
it's got
see
a little
the
wax on it, yeah.
but you could still see the texture, and you could definitely tell that they're lava rocks. And then the earrings match. This is another gorgeous piece. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Honestly, I don't think the camera's going to do these justice. They're absolutely stunning. Now, the clasps in the back, do you guys, is it hypoallergenic, or and do you guys make these clasps yourself? The clasps are like a loop with a T in the side, so they don't just kind of slip loose, and you can do it yourself. You don't need a separate person to help you with your...
No. They're called a toggle,
Okay.
and they're adjustable. So with our necklaces, the majority of them are approximately 18 inches of stones, and then you have another inch to inch and a half of adjustability, because most people know you put on a top and say, I wish my necklace was about a half inch shorter or longer. You've got a little play there.
Right,
The clasps are either sterling silver or copper.
Okay.
If I could find 3-ring stainless, I would put them on there, but I have not been able to find them.
But they're not nickel, which I think is one of the biggest allergens.
They're sterling.
Like me, you put nickel on me and forget it.
They're sterling. And then our earrings. Our earring wires are always stainless or copper.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We made that decision when we decided to go into the business. I said we're not gonna use any kind of base metal that has nickel in it, because sometimes people react to that, particularly in earrings.
Oh yeah, earrings I've gotten earrings before, and they're like, oh yeah, they're hypoallergenic, don't worry about it. I put on, and within minutes, my ear has swollen up and it gets itchy, and I'm just like, oh, I don't think so. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to wear earrings for like a month now. But so I thought I would ask. Now, you have other designs here in the store. These are just a couple of the examples that you guys have.
This one's one of ours too.
That's beautiful. Mine. Now, what is that, jade or
this
what kind
is howlite. This is vintage howlite, and then this is a clear quartz pendant, and then there's some vintage glass beads in there.
It's very beautiful. And like I said, you could, even with the t-shirt that I have on, something like this would dress it up. Or if you've got something very dressy, it's still nice where you don't have to go into like, diamonds and stuff like that. You've got something that's gorgeous and very unique. You're not going to find this anywhere else.
We don't duplicate our design ever. So, with the same stone. So, we have people that bring us clothing and want us to match clothing.
Oh, very cool.
We've done that. As I said, we've had people that bring us rocks or old jewelry, and we take it apart, put it all back together again, any way we can. We have consultations at our dining room table, because that's where we work most of the time. And my husband puts on every single clasp. So this is a group effort.
Have you designed it very many, or you?
No, I have not personally designed any. She's the real artist.
No.
But she always asks my opinion on how it looks, and most of the time I don't have any problems with what she's doing. I mean, as far as the design part. The other thing about the stones is, because they're chunks or, not perfect necessarily, all of the beads, we can keep our prices down that way. So we want to make it price competitive so that most people can afford our necklace and earrings.
I'm amazed at how your prices are so affordable for the quality of work, and not just the quality, but the beauty of what you're working with, that I've seen them be a lot more expensive. And you're local, you're not mass produced, we're not ordering it and having it shipped in. So that's another reason you guys have got to come down here and see these, especially Mother's Day's coming up. This is the perfect opportunity. You could get something really unique for any mom, whether it's, you know, someone who's liking mom or fur mom or whatever, but you're not going to see these the gorgeous jewelry designs anywhere else. So that's another benefit. But now you said you've been doing it full time. For how many years have you been doing this?
A little over 5 years now.
Okay. And you're both retired nurses. Was it hard to leave that profession and do this, or was it something that once you left, you went, what am I going to do? Did you guys have this plan in place, or did it kind of fall into your lap?
We didn't have a very good plan. He was retired. We moved down here. It'll be 11 years in June.
Okay.
We moved here during the middle of monsoon. So much fun. We're originally from the Midwest. And
so yeah, that was probably a little shock.
It was rather shocking, yes. We hadn't done a really good job of doing our homework as well as we usually do. But he was retired when we moved down here, and then I worked another 5 years. So.
And where did you use the Midwest? Whereabouts?
All over. The last 16 years before we moved here, we were in Iowa.
Oh, okay.
And the eastern part.
So you left Tornado Alley and then moved here during a monsoon. You guys don't know Arizona or Tucson, the monsoon season here in the afternoons. Moisture is brought up from the Gulf, and they can be like, oh wow, those clouds really look dark, to you're suddenly in a sandstorm or in a torrential downpour and flash floods. So I can't even you see, a lot of people when they move here in the winter, and they're like, oh yes, the winters, this is great. And then the summers come and they go, what was I thinking? And then the monsoons come and they're like, what is this? So we get
and the first day we pulled in, we had driven fairly steadily for like 3 days because we were trying to beat the moving truck because we had a deadline. And we pulled into town on the south side. We were going to be renting an apartment, but we stopped to make a little break and get something to drink before we tried.
And that's where the storms come through.
Well, yes, but we start to get out of the car, and he says to me, the car says it's 118 degrees outside. I've never been in that kind of heat before like that. And we looked at each other, we were like, what have we done?
And usually it doesn't get that warm. Like last summer, I've been here since 79. Last summer was the hottest summer I've ever. I'm like, when swirl cactuses basically boil on the inside and fall over, that have been standing for hundreds of years, you know, it's hot. So hopefully we have more monsoons and less heat.
We do a lot of our work in the summer. So because we don't go to our normal farmers markets and stuff. It's really hot being out there on the asphalt for a long period of time. People don't realize how hot it really gets. And so we don't do as much of that. So a lot of our stockpile and stuff, we do a lot of that.
So you do a lot of creating your inventory and everything. That's what's nice about here. You don't have to worry about dealing with the heat, and it's going to be nice and safe.
Yes.
Do people contact you for, say, bridal shower gifts or things like that for special occasions? Do you ever do like a set for?
They haven't contacted me for something like that, but I had a neighbor, I've had a few people that have said, I want 4 of those bracelets or 5 of those or whatever, you know, and we have done that. And we, you know, we're willing to work with people, whatever they want to do, we can do.
You're real flexible, right. Yeah. I love this stuff. I couldn't wait to talk to you because I don't know a lot about the different gemstones and minerals and things like that. Like I just think of, oh, that's really pretty. Like, oh, tiger eye. Oh, that's really pretty. Yeah. I can recognize some of it, but others I don't. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I've been to the Gem and Mineral Show and I go there to look, but I don't have that knowledge. So that's one thing I really like about the cards that you guys put on this is because of you are providing that information and they have a way to contact you. Go, I've got this. Could you do something similar or?
Right.
And the other thing is people don't realize that our earth is alive. Every piece of our earth is alive, which is how we got our name. Even the rocks themselves, they all have metaphysical properties. And if you're looking for a particular stone for a particular reason, or maybe you're looking for a particular stone because you want to give it to someone that needs it or that you think would be beneficial for them, that's kind of how we got into this business, and that's kind of the way we just let the stones do what the stones want to do.
And you pair up like that corresponding,
If we can, yeah.
Because like some of them, like you said, probably vibrate against each other versus things that work better with each other.
And that's funny because sometimes I'll put things together that I think are going to look great, and I hate it, and I rip it all apart. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "The stones weren't getting along. They weren't playing well together. So no gold star for them today. We're going to try again tomorrow."
I love that. Now there are some things I know, like hematite is not. This is what I've been told, and I could be completely off, but they don't recommend women to wear it because it kind of messes with our systems and they pull negativity to you. I'm not sure if that's correct. I just heard that. So
I've not heard that comment, but I know that a lot of people use it for headaches.
Oh, really? You have to get
Very
myself
beneficial.
I do get migraines.
But then the other key to that is if you're using a gemstone for its metaphysical properties, you also have to be willing and want to recharge it when it's necessary.
And that's sea salt?
And a lot of people don't take that time to do it. With a necklace like this, it might not be something, if you're not wearing it every day, it's not going to pull that energy all the time. But if it's something that you're wearing every day, you need to do that. There's 3 ways to do it here. I only recommend one of them. One of them is to put your stones in the sunshine. But some stones don't like the sun, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could hurt the energy of your stone. The other possibility is to bury it in dirt. We don't have a lot of dirt here. We have a lot of sand.
Right.
The third thing, and the best way to do it, and all these came from a geologist that came by one of our booths one time at a show. You put it out the night of the full moon.
Oh, okay.
In your yard and let it sit in the moonlight all night long.
I've heard many years ago, I did something with a company that were doing magnified, or it was magnified moonbeam. Basically, they took, a full moon and put things down and had it magnified onto certain gems.
Oh, okay.
And then they were putting them inside jars and having me pour candles on them.
Oh, okay.
So that when they got it out, they had like the magnified, but they were doing it with like opals and quartz. So I haven't heard that. I heard the sea salt, but I heard sunshine once. So I did that with an amethyst and it bleached it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that was a really pretty stone until I did that. And
Well,
I was so bummed out. So now it's all like, if I've got amethyst, it's somewhere where it's not getting direct sunlight because I don't want.
the other issue with that is that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of our stones nowadays are enhanced by heat or they are dyed. We don't buy anything that is dyed that we know. We have certain vendors that we buy from, and we know that their stuff isn't dyed or anything like that. I do
Not chemically enhanced.
not
Right,
just
chemically enhanced,
completely raw.
because if you
like,
put that in the sun, you may lose the color.
gotcha.
It doesn't mean that the metaphysical properties are gone, because there's some amethyst can grow in deep, it can go from really deep blue purple all the way to pale lavender. And we use all those colors in our jewelry, but you have to take care of it.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way. It was a necklace I was drawn to. It was a metaphysical shop that my parents knew the owner of, and I kept going back to this one necklace. I was just drawn to it, and then it was given to me as a gift later, and I wore it all the time, and I was at the beach, and I had it on, and I thought, well, this is good because I'm outdoors, and it's getting, recharged and everything. And then about a week later, I looked and I was like, what happened to the color of my amethyst? And it wasn't a super deep purple. It was kind of like a mid-range purple. Not anymore. It's like a pale purple. So somebody said, set it on other amethyst. It may draw back. I've had it sitting on an amethyst stone for years.
Oh.
But now I'm very cautious about it. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, don't full moons, and we get one once a month. So
That's right.
Yep.
And you got to do it on a night that it's not going to freeze, you know.
Oh, right.
Because if it happens to be a stone that's kind of delicate, so in the winter a lot of times you're not going to put it out if it's going to be below freezing. But the rest of the year you can do that.
Now, is there anything specific you should put it on, or just?
I lay mine out on a kitchen table and a kitchen towel and a cookie sheet, and just leave it out on my patio all night long.
Oh, okay, very good. As long as it's in the in that
Yep.
sunlight, but moonlight.
Moonlight.
Right.
Mhm.
That is so interesting. See, I did not know any of this,
Well,
and I'm sure a lot of people don't know this either.
I was thinking of something else that you were saying about you were being drawn to that particular
Right.
necklace. We have that happen a lot. People will come into, if we're at a farmer's market or a show, and they will see something and they are a beeline to that stone.
Mhm.
They're like, I don't know what it is about this stone, but it's like it's calling my name. Yeah, it is. There's something about that stone that either you need or is very attractive to your body.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. That's what they told me at that store too. I was like, I just can't stop.
Mhm.
Like, I can't stop looking at it. There's something about this, and it wasn't like intricate, or the wire wrapping wasn't like crazy. It was very. I do prefer more simple things, but it was the color and just everything about it. I just couldn't figure it out, and yeah, they said the same thing. So there have been, when we were doing the live sales, there was a couple of your necklaces that I had shown, and I was like, that is just so pretty. Like, I just kept looking. I was like, I can't get over how pretty this is. Like, I don't know why, but I'm just so drawn to this. And now that you've said that, now I understand probably why.
Maybe your brain thought you needed it. Yeah.
Like, I did hold it a lot. So now you mentioned you do farmers markets at the Rancho Vistoso. That's up, and it's north of Tucson. If you want to know where that's at.
Actually, we do two that are north of Tucson. One of them is in Saddlebrook Ranch, which is
Saddlebrook. Okay.
it's a Saddlebrook Ranch is a fairly new community. It's only about little over 10 years old. It's on the west side of Highway 77,
Okay.
south of the city of Oracle, and it's
Gotcha.
an over 55 community. But people can come to the market there. We have one more week of our winter hours, which are 9 to 1. Then it'll go 8 to 4, and that's
8 to 2.
8 to 2.
12.
I was like, wow,
12,
they're really
8 to
trying to
12.
destroy you.
I'm sorry, on Thursdays.
Okay.
But the one that we've been at now for over 5 years is in Saddlebrook itself.
Okay.
Two separate communities. And that is on the east side of Highway 77, just north of Catalina.
Okay.
And it's not gated or anything. And that's on Fridays at the same
So one's Thursdays and one's Fridays.
Right.
Mhm. And they're
Okay.
both
So
over-
anybody in Tucson that's watching this or their surrounding areas, Saddlebrook Ranch and Saddlebrook,
Mhm.
which is north of Tucson. Just basically take Oracle Road and just keep going, because that is essentially Highway 77.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's when both of them are.
Very
So-
cool. And you guys do those? Do they have the same hours in the summer?
Both
I
the
know.
same.
Well, I mean, both shows have the same
8 to 12 in the
Yes.
summer.
8 to 12.
We have one more week. It all depends how quickly it gets hot. Some years it gets hot in April, and we're like, by the end of April, we're all like,
No.
can we change the hours,
Right.
please?
So last year probably took you by surprise, because we didn't hit 100 until like June, but then
Then it was awful.
Then
it
it was.
was, yeah, we didn't even get a chance to preheat. We just went
Nope.
from
Right.
100, I mean,
I know.
it's just 100, 108, 114.
Yeah.
It's like Mother Nature went, oh, I forgot about you guys in May. Let me make it up to you in like 3 weeks straight. So I can't even imagine. I can't do shows outdoors anymore.
But
so.
we try to go as often as we can. If the heat is going to be brutal, we won't go.
We won't
Right.
go.
But people can reach us through here, if they want to know if we're going
Right.
to be there. Our business phone number's on there. They can text us. And
Now,
say
do you have a
they're-
website or any social media that you do?
Not anymore.
Okay.
We did extensive stuff during COVID, but now that COVID's over, we're out there.
Okay. So if you need to get a hold of them, you can do it through the store, or I'll put some information in the information on this video, and you can, if you have questions or comments, you can do it to the video, and I'll make sure either Dennis or Sharon get that question and we get that answered for you. But you have to remember to like and follow or subscribe to make sure you see all of these. Do you guys have family? Do you have any family members that help you, or is it just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's fun during Gem Show because sometimes we go in two different directions looking for things, but we end up in the same, we sort and figure it all out. But we love looking for the unusual, and that's, I think, the part that we like the best.
Like you said, I can imagine that's like 2 weeks of Christmas for you guys, because do you hit like one area one day and then go back? And I know like there's GDLA and there's like the different booths that have.
This year we decided, because of some of our other things going on in our lives, we did 5 shows in 6 days this year, and we were really tired at the end of that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can't. I mean, just doing it, like, as somebody that's just going to look around, it's exhausting.
It
is.
exhausting.
You see something and you're like, oh, I wanted to get to this area. Well, I'll have to go back tomorrow. And I used to live down in that area.
Okay.
So it was really easy. It was also terrible because the traffic was horrendous.
Awful.
But it was also really convenient because, we would park somewhere a little closer and just walk it. But you could only go so far before you're like, okay, I want to die right now because I just walked way too much, and I've done this for 8 hours now.
Yes, we kind of gear up for it, and we know what to do. Hats, sneakers, backpack, water, depending on where we're going.
Right.
And then we take our.
And sometimes it's really cool, and and some have been really hot, so you have to really prepare for that as well.
And we have certain tents. There's some in particular that we spend a lot of time in, and others we walk through and see if there's stuff there that we need. But sometimes you don't find everything you need in this particular tent. But we like going and talking to the people that find things too. And to me, that's one of the most fascinating part of it. Meeting the guys that pulled it out of the ground.
Right. And do you look specifically for pendants so you can create the piece around it, or is it sometimes just something that just catches your eye and you're like, oh, I could really work with this?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. Sometimes we pick things up and we keep them in our supply for a while because nothing's really spoken to me yet.
It hasn't called out and said, make me.
Do something with me, yeah. But other times we'll just be walking and I'll see things and I'll go, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. And we'll start putting things together, and in my head, I'm creating it already.
Oh, that's so cool. Very nice.
I can see it, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well,
trust
I
the
need
process.
some of this, and I know I need this stone, and I know I don't have it at home. We have a lot of stones at home. So much so that we broke our original container for them.
Oh,
so
wow.
It just collapsed.
From the weight?
Yeah.
From the weight, yeah.
He said, I think there was too much in there. Maybe so.
Just a little bit. That was the sign. We need another container. That's all it was. You get the other and go, well, this one doesn't have enough in it. We need more.
Well, now we're much better. I don't think we thought it was going to become as large as it is at the time. I don't think we really thought, when we started making the earrings and bracelets that matched the water bottles, I don't think at the time we realized that once we started really putting together necklaces, that we were going to need as many things as we do need, or that we were going to want to have the choices that we have. So that's been part of what's driven it to get us. And I have regular customers that come in 3 or 4 times a year and buy something brand new, or want something to go with a dress, or.
But that's so cool that people are supporting your artistry, which to me is the most important. One of the reasons that we do this series is to show your artistry and have other people be aware of it. So, and I can say, I was very excited because I don't know anything about, I was like, what am I going to ask? I don't know anything about this. So you've actually really educated me on a lot of it too. And now every time I see a pendant sitting free somewhere, I'm just going to be like, I wonder if she could do something. I'll start looking at things. Just bring like, can you do it with this? Here, I found something for you. Here, make this.
Well, the other thing that we do, and we don't have any of them here, but we try to support other artists. And so sometimes when we're at Gem Show, we will find little pieces from other artists that are either here or all over the world. Like there's a woman here in Tucson that is a copper artist, and she makes beautiful copper beads. Some of them are octagonals. I mean, they're all different shapes and sizes. I love to put her stuff in some of my jewelry.
Oh, that's cool.
And she makes handmade clasps. And then there's another artist that does glass, and they're so delicate and so beautiful. And I love to put some of her beads in our jewelry with gemstones along with it. People are like, oh, this is fascinating. What is that? You know, and I'd like people to ask those questions.
Right.
And this year we met a new artist at Gem Show that has all of his things are porcelain, and they're all made in Bulgaria. And he brought thousands of these things over with him for Gem Show. And I was able to put some of that in some of our, it's fun, and then we give them credit on the card too, who did it. Because, because I didn't make it, but their portion of it really enhances it. It really does.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that.
That's so cool. Not a lot of jewelry makers that I've met are willing to do that. They want to make sure that it's all from their own hands, and I think that's really unique that you're incorporating other handcrafted beading or like you said, the wire beads into your creation as well, because it, you know, it isn't something where you're like, no, it's all going to be mine. Well, that you're supporting another artist by creating your art, which is really cool.
There's another gentleman that's he has property up in Sedona, and you can't just pick up red rocks. So people don't ever pick up red rocks in Sedona and bring them home. It's illegal.
Right.
He owns property up there, and he will periodically make beads. And so there's a place up there that I can get them sometimes. And whenever I'm up there hiking, I stop in to see if they have any of his beads. Every time I make a necklace with his beads, they get sold. I have one left.
I've done a hike up in Sedona when I was in high school, and my parents wanted to go, I guess because of the magnetic vortexes there. And I had both my knees wrapped. I was this is in the 80s, so both my knees were wrapped because I'd hyperextend them at a cheerleading competition in NAU. So they picked me up afterwards. We climbed one of them, and I remember just falling asleep at the top, and like it was really close to one of that layer strip. So there were like helicopters, everything. I slept through all of it, but I was just beat in. But it was so beautiful. I knew I was tired, but I still wanted to do the hike because it was just gorgeous. So.
We found that to probably be one of the most inspirational places for us. And I think that was probably part of our initial inspiration now that we're looking back on it, because long before we moved here, we came down every winter and hiked there.
Oh, okay.
And there was something about those rocks that were just, your blood pressure goes down, you know, everything, it just really calms you neurologically. And I think now that thinking back on it, that was probably the beginning
Oh, that's so
of our love story with rocks.
I like that, your love story with rocks. That's so cool. And so you said that if somebody did find something, you could create a piece around it. If it has to have a hole, don't just bring them a rock. But it was so wonderful meeting both of you. I mean, I know we've met during some of the meetings, but I haven't gotten down to talk to you about some of this stuff. Look at these pieces. This is absolutely beautiful. And it's Denron Living Earth Products. I kept wanting to say jewelry, Denron Living Jewelry, and I was like, that's not right. I don't know why. It's like a mental block. Living Earth Products. So they create a wide range of beautiful designs. This is just a couple of them. To see the rest, you have to come in here. Are you guys on our website also?
Yes.
So, or you can find it at www.arizonaartisancreation.com, and you can see some of their works there. If you have any additional questions, of course, comment to this video, and I'll make sure that they get it and they can respond to it, or they'll give me the information and I'll respond. But it was, was there anything else you guys would like to add?
The reason it's named Products
Okay,
is
yes.
because initially we weren't just selling jewelry.
Oh, God,
you know.
right.
But then the other thing that we also, a couple of times a year, we are able to get slabs, fresh gemstone slabs. And
Oh, wow.
they're slices of stones, and they're big like this.
Is it something like somebody could make a centerpiece with?
You
or?
could hang it in a window because they're translucent.
Oh, wow.
Or you can put it in front of like a battery candle and get the light through it. Or some people put those little rubber feet on the bottom of them, and then they put a really beautiful vase or something on it.
Okay.
And so that's one product that we do sell, and we do have those only at the farmer's market, unfortunately. So,
Well, I'm sure they're
but
probably
we
really
only
gonna
get a
go around.
limited supply every year, as well as.
Just keep your eyes open if that's something you
Some
want,
of
because
our
I'm really
other
intrigued.
trades
I'm already going like, oh, that would be so cool, and I'm like planting it in my head where I would like to see something like that.
And
So.
we get, once a year, we get tiny geode slices that we
Okay.
make into earrings. And last year we had 5 pairs of earrings, and they were gone within the first 2 hours.
Oh, I bet.
This year we have 10 pairs of earrings, and we have 1 pair left. And you'll have to go to the farmer's market to find those.
So it's in Saddlebrook, Thursdays and Fridays. Saddlebrook Ranch Thursdays, and then Saddlebrook on Fridays. Okay,
Correct.
I want to make sure I have
Yes,
that correct too, and I'll make sure I put that in the information on the
Yes.
video so people know as
Right.
well.
Okay.
and if they want to go to Saddlebrook Ranch, it is a gated community. Don't be intimidated. All you have to do is tell them you're coming for the farmer's market, and they will let you in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can imagine, because I'd be one of those people like, oh, the gate's shut. Maybe I had the wrong location. So that's good to know.
Mhm.
That's really good to know. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
No.
It's been so nice talking to
You
you.
too.
I wanted to
Same
make
here.
it as painless as
Yes.
possible. I always try and tell people, because they're like, oh, I don't know, like, this isn't like an interrogation. I'm not gonna, flashlight in your face or anything. But we want people to know who's in the store, what kind of beautiful things that they create. And so that's why we decided to do this series.
All right.
But it was, like I said, it was so nice talking to you. Denron Living Earth Products. And they're here at the store. They're on our website. They do farmers markets in Saddlebrook Ranch and Saddlebrook. I'll put some of the information in the description of the video. And like I said, if you have any questions, you post that comment. I'll make sure they get it. Or you guys can answer,
Yep.
or they'll give me the answer and I'll post it. We're also on Facebook, so I'll make sure we post that video there. It was wonderful speaking with you.
You too.
I hope we get to do this again, and definitely be looking at more of your things now with a different eye, because I now understand it, which I didn't before. Again, we're at Arizona Artisan Creations at 8800 West Water Street, Marana, Arizona. Open Wednesday to Sunday, 11 to 5, but I think our hours may be changing on the weekends. You'll have to check back on the website to see what those hours are going to be. And Denron Living Earth Products. And we hope you have a very magical day. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye.